Hey there everybody, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Sorry I haven't been able to post any reviews lately. I've been so busy with schoolwork that it's just been keeping me busy. Anyways, what I'm going to do today, and I promised I said I would do a monthly series of these, or at least once a month, is do a Paris Plunder video of all the games, anime, and movies I've collected over the course of that month's time frame. Well, since January's almost wrapped up, I thought I might as well go ahead and start with it. And in this particular one, I'm going to do games first, movies last, and anime second. Yeah, so basically it was reversed from the order of last time for my Christmas edition. Anyways, without further BSing, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first up I have on my order is Anarchy Reigns. Now, I've always been a big Platinum Games fan ever since they started. I mean, from Mad World on, I've just loved their stuff all the time. It's just, it feels like Platinum Games is never too afraid to be indulgent in what they like and just have fun with themselves and just indulge in the silliness and the craziness that gaming can evoke. And personally, my favorite game from them is probably Bayonetta. Now, Anarchy Reigns itself was a game I was looking forward to a lot because it's not only because it's Platinum, but because it was kind of a simple beat-em-up style mixed with Mad World characters. And I like the fact that Platinum Games took a lot of effort, or took the effort, to create a whole myriad of characters based on previous games in their on their franchises, or new characters entirely, and put them all in one game, and allowed every one of the characters to have their own style and flair to them. It just made it seem like a much more enjoyable experience than most probably would take it for. Now, I can understand if some people don't really like this sort of beat-em-up style gameplay, thinking it's probably repetitive, and perfectly understandable, but for me, I actually found Anarchy Reigns enjoyable. Next up is a game that I was personally looking, or cautiously optimistic for, because it's part of a franchise that I myself am very much a fan of, but I kind of felt sorry for the developers during the course of the development of this game, because I have not seen such a ravenous amount of irrational hate for one game that was not even released yet. And I just feel, and I was just thinking to myself, this developer really hasn't done anything bad at all since they've started, and that's DMC Devil May Cry from Ninja Theory. Now, like I said, I really enjoy Devil May Cry, the old ones, and I think probably 3 is my personal favorite. Maybe I find 4 a little bit underrated, but let's not discuss DMC 2. But I don't know why, I just felt kind of sorry for Ninja Theory during the course of the development of DMC Devil May Cry, because I just felt like the Heavenly Sword and Enslaved from them previously was just, those were good games, and to me, I just didn't feel like the hate was justified. Yeah, everyone's like, well, he doesn't have a red coat, he doesn't have white hair. It's just like, that doesn't... Look, this is not a continuation of Devil May Cry as we once knew it. This is a complete reimagining of something that was a previously established franchise. And for what Ninja Theory did, if I had to sum up my thoughts but not give away my opinion entirely in one sentence, it would be like this. In all sincerity and honesty, as a fan of the previous DMC games, and tried to give this one a chance and let Ninja Theory prove themselves, I really don't think that this game warrants as much hate as all the other nostalgified DMC fanboys are evoking. Like, I just feel like they don't, like, this game does not deserve the amount of hate that it's getting. And finally on my games list is a game that I was very, very excited for, mostly because I'm a very big fan of Studio Ghibli and Level 5. I really enjoy their work. It's just, they seem to be taking the reins as the king, or one of the reigning leaders of the JRPG now. And it's just one that I felt like this could be one of the big hits of the year, and I'm so glad this was released in January. It allows it a time to shine, and allows it for people to appreciate for what it is, and that's Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. Now, to be perfectly honest, I haven't finished this game yet, and I've only gone through maybe about the first 2 hours, I think, about the game, and I do have a couple of initial thoughts. For one thing, I think the presentation is outstanding. I mean, Studio Ghibli, you really can't go wrong with it. It's just, their art style is impeccable, and it's so it's so soft, but yet it's simple and relaxing, and you can just enjoy any one of their movies. But if there's something about it that I have to mention that I feel like is worth, I wouldn't say it's worth a point of criticism, but again, this isn't a review, this is just quick thoughts. I will say this, the score I feel like is a little sporadic in tone and in terms of the intensity in which it presents itself. Mostly, like, it doesn't know when to be like, at certain moments it knows when to be like full on enthralling, whimsical, and that sort of tone, and then it will happen in other moments where it doesn't really warrant such a, like, the two main characters like Oliver and Drippy could be talking to each other or talking to another side character, and all of a sudden the score just keeps going up higher and higher and higher, and I'm just thinking to myself, why in the world is this happening? But again, it's only the first 2 hours of the game. Who knows what's going to happen in the rest of the course of the story, but I'm really excited to check out the rest of Ni no Kuni. Yeah, it's anime, sorry. My brain just stopped for a moment. Anyways, this is an anime that I picked up just last night and watched this afternoon, and that's the director's cut of Marduk Scramble: The First Compression. Now, the way I heard someone describe this is, imagine the girl with the dragon tattoo had a love child with Ghost in the Shell. And personally, I would agree with that tone, except add a little bit more color saturation, then you pretty much have this movie. Now, the reason why I picked up Marduk in the first place is because I found out that there's going to be a new Ghost in the Shell series coming out this year. And Ghost in the Shell is a franchise that I'm a very big fan of, and I have a lot of respect for the franchise and hope that the new series do as well. Now, I heard that and for what I researched, it seemed like the writer of the new Ghost in the Shell series is the same creator of Marduk Scramble, and I think, what's his name? To Ubakata, that's his name. Yeah, he's going to be the one writing the new script. So, I wanted to become more acquainted with his work, and this is from what I am aware of, the only major work he's ever done so far. And since it takes place in the same genre as Cyberpunk, which is where Ghost in the Shell is, I felt like it only proper to get an idea of where his sensibilities and what kind of dialogue he evokes. And from what I remember, and just giving my initial reaction from watching it this afternoon, I was very impressed with this. I thought it was very gorgeous in terms of its color palette. It didn't hold back in terms of its content and subject matter. I thought the female lead, Rumbalo, was very memorable. I found her to be incredibly sympathetic, and I'm like, just looking at her and just seeing all the crap that she went through during the course of the story, I felt like just so sorry for her. I almost wanted to give her a hug, just out of pure sympathy and compassion, just wanting to make sure she didn't get hurt anymore. But as it stands, I was very impressed with the story. I loved the way it went. It almost, like, it was so good, the way the story ended, I was like, I want to watch the sequel right now. Like, I want to go out and get the second Combustion, the sequel, and watch it and put it in my Blu-ray player right now. Anyway, but I really find this anime to be really underrated. I can't wait to see what Ubakata does with Ghost in the Shell Arise coming out this year, and I want to see the rest of Marduk. So if you haven't checked out Marduk Scramble, next up is a series that it was the first anime series, actually I think it's the only anime series I've viewed to date. It was my second episode, and when this came out, when I originally saw the trailer for it, I thought this was going to be like the dumbest thing ever, and I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it at all, and then I ended up buying the set and watching the whole thing in one day, and that's Penny and Stocking with Garter Belt on Blu-ray. This was such a fun, indulgent piece of anime. I just had a whole lot of fun with it, and sure, it's not the deepest anime in the world, it's not the most thought-provoking, it's not the most intelligent, there's a lot of sexual innuendos, there's a lot of foul language, but that being said, I still had a lot of fun with Penny and Stocking. I don't know what it is about Gainax's work in general, but I've always found such enjoyment in their stuff. I mean, Gurren Lagann, Penny and Stocking, this one, what else? Gunbuster, the movies. What else have I watched from them? I haven't watched Evangelion yet. And I heard a lot of people say that I should, or that it's one of the most quote-unquote famous animes, that everyone says that it gets very mixed reactions from some, saying that it's like a masterpiece, others say it's an over-pretentious piece of garbage. So I have the first movie to get an idea of what it's going to be like. I still haven't watched it yet, but Penny and Stocking was one of those series that I was surprised when I went to the most recent anime convention how popular it was. And it was something that I felt like I felt like this is kind of an anime that needed to existed. I'm not saying it's like it's great by any stretch, but I found it very enjoyable. And anyone who can like just, I wouldn't say turn their brain off, but learn to not take things so seriously and just enjoy it for what it is and have fun with it and not be ashamed to like something like this. And personally, I found and another thing I found was the score to be incredibly enthralling and fun and just enjoyable. And I actually want to buy the soundtrack and just support Penny and Stocking. And I hope they come out with the second season. But yeah, Penny and Stocking on Blu-ray. Next up is another anime box set that I've wanted a long time for. I don't know what was it that drew me to this particular series, and it's part of the Katari trilogy I mentioned last time with Katana Katari, and that's Bakemonogatari. And this one was released by Aniplex, and I usually I want to support Aniplex and want to support their releases because I feel like they have some good quality stuff. But the problem is their prices. Their prices are outrageous, and I just feel like, how are you going to keep your fan base alive, or how are you going to keep your business alive if you keep making your box set so outrageous? Now, granted, the quality of this box set and the quality of the anime itself is really, really good. So I will say this, you do get what you paid for, and I feel like it's worth it. But again, the price entry is really high for anyone who wants to try and just casually get into this. It's a very steep pricing point. And it's one of those animes that I literally had a hard time keeping up with. Not because it was complicated, but literally the anime is incredibly fast. Literally. Like, the whole thing, I couldn't find a frame that probably lasted more than 5 seconds. A single frame that lasted more than 5 seconds. And trying to keep up with the plot of it was very, very difficult. But one of the things I found out, or at least caught on very early in the show, was that the driving force of the plot, or the plot itself, was not really the main focus of what was going on. It was more or less the dialogue between the characters that was important, and just watching them have a casual conversation with each other. And I like the fact that the concept around the show, it revolves around a group of characters that have their own like personal demons, and they manifest into spirits and affect them in some way, shape, or form. Like there's like the main girl, I can't pronounce her name right. I think it's Senjo Gahara or something like that. She doesn't weigh anything, and she has to find a way to get her weight back. Or some little girl who doesn't know her way home or can't find her way home. And during the course of the story, you find out a little bit more mystery behind the origins of why is it they are affected in these ways, or some of the personal demons that they encounter during the course of the story. And I found it to be very enjoyable. I've watched maybe about half the show so far, and it's something that I feel like is very interesting. The art style is outstanding. It has a very, how do I put this? In terms of like the way it presents itself, I would say it's like the equivalent of Sonic the Hedgehog directing a Pulp Fiction-esque style anime. And what I mean by when I add Pulp Fiction in that is, it's not so much the plot itself that's the main point, it's more of the dialogue that's being the central focus of what is going on. That is like the driving force behind everything. And anyone who's watched Pulp Fiction will know what I'm talking about. Like, the dialogue is what drives that movie, and no one can deny that. And I would say Bakemonogatari falls into a similar category in terms of the dialogue being central to the attention of the viewer. But again, sound quality, amazing. Picture quality, outstanding. I personally cannot wait to finish the rest of the series and hopefully pick up the sequel, Nisei Monogatari, and complete the Gatari trilogy, at least in my opinion, once it comes out this February, I think. So, yeah, I really enjoyed Bakemono. Next up is, oh man, this is a series that I have been hunting down for months, ever since I saw the original film, and have watched it on Toonami and just research and have just done so much research on, and it's a series that I didn't think that never had a Blu-ray release, and then I had to hunt down for like specific versions that had English dialogue or Japanese dialogue at all. and it's probably my favorite cyberpunk series and one of my favorite anime series of all time, and that is Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex on Blu-ray. No, not the OVAs, not the movies, the series, the actual series on Blu-ray. I am not kidding you. This is box set 1 of 4, and from what I can gather, this has the first. Let's see how many. Let's see how many episodes are in this one. It's supposed to be box set 1 of 4, so it's supposed to be the first 13 episodes of Standalone Complex Season 1. And I've been hunting down this series for months. I love Ghost in the Shell. I find it to be one of the most interesting, thought-provoking, and almost plausible animes that I've ever seen. Probably the most plausible, and probably my favorite cyberpunk franchise, period. And with the main character, Motoko, I love watching her think. I love watching her in charge and reacting to different situations and just leading this team together and just working together as a group. And I would probably have to go into the actual 1995 film first to really explain why do I like Ghost in the Shell so much. But this is just... I'm so happy the fact that I finally have the Standalone Complex in my hand, and hopefully I will be able to hunt down the remaining 3 box sets for this one. And I had to import this all the way from Japan. And just to clarify, for anyone who is hunting this down as well, first of all, good luck to you, because these things are really hard to come by. This actually has the Japanese dialogue and English audio dialogue, but it does not have English subtitles, which to me is a little bit puzzling, the fact that this is a Japanese release. But thankfully it plays on my North American Blu-ray player because it's Region A. I'm very excited to have Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, and just, man. This is probably my favorite thing out of this entire update. It's just the fact that I have something this rare in my collection now, and I want to watch it. I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. If you are a fan of Ghost in the Shell, tell me, what's your favorite thing about it? What's your favorite character? Like, what's your favorite moment? Like, have you seen the sequels? Like, what are your thoughts on it? But yeah, this is Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex on Blu-ray. Can't believe I'm actually holding this in my hands. Alright, now last but not least, the films that I've picked up over the course of the month. First up is a movie that I thought was criminally underrated in terms of how much it earned at the box office, and I felt sorry that it didn't earn as much as it should have. And to me, it's like the futuristic version of Die Hard, and that's Dredd. I don't know what was it about this movie that made me think that it was going to be good, but everyone I saw, like, whenever I heard people talking about the trailer for this movie, it felt like everyone was saying that the trailer was horrible, the movie was going to suck, it was going to be terrible, and when I saw the trailer, I couldn't really see why everyone thought it was so bad. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just I could perceive the good movie lying behind the trailer. I don't know why. Maybe that's the reason why it didn't affect me as much as some people did. They didn't see that there was a good movie lying behind this trailer. And when I saw the movie, I was sat in the theater, and I was saying, like, please don't suck, please don't suck. And lo and behold, I thought this movie was a badass. I thought Carl Urban killed it as Dredd. And it was just really cool to see him just a personified symbol of justice that is 100% no BS, and will do whatever it takes to get the job done and follow the law correctly. And I thought Lena Headey was a fantastic villain. I thought she was a great complete nemesis to Dredd himself. It's one of the things I respect the most about Dredd is the fact they made slow-mo usually an element in most movies that's usually a gimmick. It made it serve a purpose in the narrative. And I mean, granted, it's not the deepest plot. It's not the most engaging story ever, but it is a great action movie. It's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite underrated movie of last year, along with Stuff Like Chronicle. But I just felt like if anyone has not picked this up yet on Blu-ray, I suggest picking it up immediately. It is a badass movie. Next up is a movie that one of my cousins sent me, and this is kind of a leftover from Christmas, but I didn't get it until after my last Plunder video. And it's actually a movie that I have a lot of respect for, and I read the book for in middle school, and that's Gregory Peck in To Kill a Mockingbird. Now, I have seen To Kill a Mockingbird, or have known about To Kill a Mockingbird, and basically 4 different instances. I read the book in middle school. I watched the movie for the first time in, like, once I had finished reading the book. Like, I watched the movie after I was done reading it. Because when I was a kid, for some reason, like, whenever I was reading a book, it was really hard sometimes for the imagery in the book to come across into my mind without my own imagination interfering in with something. And whenever I would watch or read a book, I would always watch the film version afterwards and to get an idea of what was really going on. And so it came easier to me. And so that was my second time with To Kill a Mockingbird. And then about a year ago, I saw the play version of To Kill a Mockingbird acted out on stage. And it was a really good play rendition, and seeing it with some of my classmates, and we had a good time. And then I found out that they were going to bring it back to Blu-ray, and I felt like, you know what, I might as well see this movie right now, like see this movie again, because I remember it being good. And holy crap, Gregory Peck was just awesome. I mean, if you want to talk about a really kick-ass lawyer in movies, this is pretty much the ideal version, is Gregory Peck. I mean, that speech he has in the courtroom lasted 7 minutes long, and that was all done in one take, from what I've researched about the movie. That was all one take. That is some A-class acting on his part, and I was just like, and he got an Academy Award for Best Actor, I think. Yeah, I think that was the case. And he's been ranked as like one of the best heroes in cinema ever, and I think that I completely agree with that. Now, for the fact that it's a 60s movie and it's in it's 1962 and it's in black and white, I don't mind it so much. I mean, if black and white done right, there we go. I think it can convey the tone of the movie just fine, and I don't really see the necessary need for it to be in color, but if it was, I wouldn't complain, but that's not the point. I really enjoyed To Kill a Mockingbird. I really suggest that if you've not watched it, I highly recommend it. It's one of those classic cinema movies that, to me, I feel like it's one of those that really does stand the test of time. To me, like Ben-Hur, one of my other favorite movies of all time. But To Kill a Mockingbird, great movie. If you have not seen it, check it out, please, for the sake of all things holy. Next up is... oh, man. This is probably, without a doubt, the biggest box set I own on Blu-ray, and it's... how many discs is it? This is 14 discs, but I got the Best Buy version, so it's like 15 technically, and that is the Red vs. Blue 10th Anniversary box set. This contains, seasons 1 through 5 of the Blood Gulch Chronicles, seasons 6 through 8 of the Recollection, seasons 9 through 10 of Project Freelancer, Griffball Volume 1 and 2, Blood Gulch bonus content, and behind the scenes of Red vs. Blue. I mean, this set is huge. I mean, look how thick that is. Seriously, I mean, I would fold this thing out, but the problem is that the image and the camera wouldn't be enough to contain everything that would be in this set. I love Red vs. Blue. It's one of those series, for some reason, I watch it all over and over again. It never gets dull. It's insanely funny. It's one of those movies, it's one of those series that I can just have fun with quoting endlessly, and my friends and I will show this to them, and they will laugh their ass off, and we will just have a great time watching it. And to me, I was like, the fact that this is my biggest box set now, and it's like 15 discs, and it's just, and it's an internet web series. I don't know whether I should laugh or I should just kind of sigh and just go, ugh. But either way, I love Red vs. Blue. I think my personal favorite character in the series is probably Church, and then my favorite season would probably be season 5. I mean, there's just so many moments in that series, in that season, I found memorable and has so much fun repeating to my friends and just having fun with. It's like, what was one of my favorite moments? It's like, the fuck you guys doing out here? You're breaking the canyon. Fuck off, Blue. The ship just crashed on one of our guys. What, this ship? No, another ship. Then that ship left and that ship crashed in the exact same spot. Where did it come from? It's a spaceship. It came from space. I don't know. I love Red vs. Blue so much. I had a lot of fun with it. I can't wait to see it on Blu-ray again. I'm actually kind of surprised that Bungie would no, not Bungie. Jeez, what am I saying? Rooster Teeth. There we go. Sorry, brain fart. Would release this on Blu-ray to begin with, because as far as I know, they don't really like PlayStation all that much, or Blu-ray to begin with. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but who knows? Either way, I'm happy the fact that it is out on Blu-ray. Can't wait to see it again. Just tell me, what was your favorite moment from Red vs. Blue, and what do you think of the later season? And last but not least for this video is, I think this is a good way to end this particular Plunder video, is a filmmaker who I recently saw his latest flick in December, and I had a lot of fun with it, and ever since then I was like, I want to see more of this man's work and see what he's done, because I think Inglourious Basterds is the only other film of his I've actually watched. And you can guess what it is. It's the Tarantino XX 20th Anniversary box set, containing, I think it was 9 of his films. I think, what was it? What's in this set again? Kill Bill's Volume 1 and 2, Death Proof, Inglourious Basterds, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Reservoir Dogs, and True Romance. Yeah, and ever since I got this set, I have watched Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Really badass movies. I had a lot of fun with those, and I almost want to say, like, which one, I can't decide which one is my favorite out of both of them. I don't know, I like Kill Bill for the fact that of its pure badass factor, but I also like Pulp Fiction for its really, really well done dialogue, and I never really found, maybe I never found Uma Thurman that attractive before, but her in those movies is like, wow, she's not half bad. And Samuel L. Jackson always kicks ass. I was like, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. It was just so much. I'm sorry, I can't do impressions worth a damn. But I really enjoyed Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. If you guys have a suggestion for which Tarantino movie I should see next out of all the ones that are in here, just let me know what you think. And what's your personal favorite Tarantino movie? And what did you think of Django Unchained once you saw it? I mean, so far, I've really enjoyed Tarantino's work. I've so far had no complaints about it. Sure, people may gripe about the fact that his stuff is, like, over the top and unrealistic. I mean, in fact, that's one of the things that I remember my dad mentioning whenever we went out of Django Unchained, and I almost felt like I had to say to him, it was like, Dad, this is a Tarantino movie. I'm pretty sure rule number 1 is throw realism out the window when it comes to it. Anyway, I found these movies infinitely enjoyable, and I can't wait to see the rest of them. And if you have a suggestion for what I should see next, comment below and tell me what you think. Alright everybody, so that concludes this edition of Perry's Plunder, January 2013, I think? Yes. And if you guys want me to comment on anything else, like do a proper review on anything I showed in this video, or give a more detailed opinion of what I really think, just, again, comment below. I know I've said that a lot in this video, I apologize, but I just want to get a good discussion going. I want us to have fun with this. I really want to, get your suggestions or recommendations on what I should watch or see, or anything that you would think that I would enjoy. And just tell me your thoughts. I really love to hear them. Give, an in-depth reason for why you enjoyed some of the stuff, why you may not, or again, good discussion going. I want to have fun with this. And so, I'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Perry the One-Armed Legend. You name it, I can play it.